do you say that there's something about Bitcoin which should be regulated in a different way, something intrinsic about it, not in terms of the way it's traded, but do you say this is something which is actually quite a high risk? This is an argument that could be made, but it's quite a high risk product in the sense that at the moment its value is floating around at a great rate. Most people, it seems to me at least, are buying Bitcoin not because they want to use it as a medium of exchange, because frankly it's not realistically at the moment a genuine medium of exchange. You're not going to hold it for that purpose. You're buying it because you want to invest in it. It's like acquiring Apple shares in the early days, because you just think, like, I'm going to make a massive increase in this over time. So people are not buying it for the right reasons. They're buying it for speculative reasons. They're buying it like they would an investment. Now, if you apply conventional regulatory technology to that, you'd say, well, this is actually something which you should stop people doing, or at least you should give them hundreds of warnings, and you should have prospectuses, etc. All the sort of things you would do to protect people from buying risky investments. At the moment, it is outside that regulation. It seems to me that when you're looking at something like money laundering, there's actually almost two ways of approaching that. You either say, look, this is what it is, it's anonymous, keep off the grass, don't interfere with us. And that, in a sense, fits with what you're saying. You say, look, the whole idea is this, it's disruptive, and we want it to be anonymous. We want to have that degree of lack of control of the state interfering with what you're doing. Or the alternative is to say, okay, well, look, we know this is a sensitive area. We know the whole thing is going to get regulated out of sight if we're not careful. We need to try and meet it halfway. We need to try and introduce the ability to make it accountable. We need to try give regulators what they want, which is the ability to see where transactions are going and who they're going to. There's almost two different ways of approaching that. One takes you head on against the state. The other one sort of, in a sense, accepts the constraints.
Yeah, and that war is now being fought within the Bitcoin community. So there are plenty of people that want to make this available to all the consumers, and they know that the way to do that is to try and make it acceptable and amenable to the current legal systems which exist. But those aren't what the squatters are doing outside of Barcelona. They're innovating dark wallets to mean that you don't even, that it's entirely cryptographically centered, even if you own Bitcoin in the first place. They're the ones that are really, they have given up with the idea that you can negotiate with nation states. Their idea is that privacy, basically, and cryptography are the weapons which you need in order to coercively disentangle yourself from this, what they view to be a fundamentally corrupt and inadmissible system of political and economic governance.
The trouble is, though, that the revolutionaries, if you like, well, entirely positively motivated and believing in things that I think a lot of us can really relate to. The problem is there are people out there who are just simply trying to use these things as money laundering. I mean, there are people who are abusing that thing which has actually got a very noble aim for very nefarious purposes, and that's your problem. And in a kind of way, what you're outlining there is almost an all or nothing. The more you push it into total anonymity, the more that you make it like that, the more you're raising the risk that actually there's an all or nothing in the sense that they shut it down altogether. They simply say, right, trading in this is too dangerous.